All right, cool. So we are live. I'm Mark Maya. I'm here with Alice. Alice, I don't even know if I asked you how to say your last name correctly. Can you say it for us?
It's Mahram.
Marad.
I don't
Okay.
know sometimes how to say it.
Cool. There we go. Well, I'm here with Alice, and she's awesome. She's an awesome photographer. I'm here on the East Coast of the U.S., and Alice is in Australia. And this is probably the biggest time difference I've had with for my Artist Talk series. We've had to really work this out pretty specifically because it's about 8 p.m. here where I'm at, and it's 10 a.m. where she is. So we've really had to consider each other's schedules. So how are you doing, Alice?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to this chat. Yeah, to
Cool.
just talk and we'll see where we go.
Yay. Yay. Cool. Cool. Um, yeah. Hey, how's the weather in Australia, by the way? Is it like blazing hot over there?
No, it's winter and it's
Really?
seriously sunny outside, and you don't have to wear a jacket. And
Oh,
so,
cool.
totally different than Holland, where it's freezing cold. So I'm enjoying this.
Cool. So then uh is winter and summer the exact opposite of what it is in the US then, I assume?
I think what isn't it? Where
Right
what
now
is
it's
it?
like we're like the dead of summer right now.
Really? Oh, that's
Yeah,
interesting. There you go.
yeah. I had the same reaction. I thought it was summertime there, so that's funny. Um, yeah, it's like we were at 97 degrees here today in my hometown.
How many? Oh, but
90.
you guys have different degrees, so
Yeah,
that's a bit.
that's right.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah, 97 uh, degrees Fahrenheit here. So
yeah. Cool.
it's
That's pretty
really,
hot.
it's really, really hot, like crazy hot. Yeah.
Good for
Um,
you.
we broke 100 degrees Fahrenheit earlier in the week, which is just ridiculous. I'm kind of in uh, the the plains in the middle of North Carolina, and it's so humid. So,
Oh,
anyways, cool. Well, why don't we get started? And for those of you out there watching, or if you're just joining in, please leave your questions um, or comments or whatever on the blog, um, and we will try to get to them during the artist talk um, this evening. So, also, if during the talk, if you've check out under the video, you'll see Alice's website and her Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. You can follow her there as well. And I know she shared a bunch of stuff about this. And thank you for doing that, Alice. Um,
thank you.
so, why don't you start off by telling us your beginnings as a photographer, just how you got started out, how long ago, and what's your story?
Well, my story is that I actually never had a story with photography. So I studied something else. It was 4 years ago, and and then someone else popped the question. I think a friend, like many photographers, and I guess I just rolled into that. And it's still that I think like, whoa, do I get to travel for work? And it's just so crazy. So I didn't study anything, and like even today I think I don't understand it. So I'm just enjoying it and taking it where it takes me. So in that thing I'm not a technical, yeah, learning photographer, or how do you call that? So
Mm.
I'm not a typical photographer, and I don't even call myself often a photographer. So
Yeah,
I'm
well,
just,
your work is wonderful. So I mean, you're definitely a photographer for sure. So just stop saying that. Just flush that down the toilet. You're an amazing artist, and you're a photographer. You're awesome. Your work's good. So.
thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm just lucky. I think I consider
Yeah,
myself lucky, that I can probably do it, or that people like what I do.
sure.
And yeah, so that's a bit my story. It's not really a long.
Well, what did you do before you were a photographer?
I actually didn't really like studying, so I've done beautician for 3 years in Holland, And then I loved old people, so I worked maybe 2 years in how do you call that? A nursery home? Do you call that?
Sure, nursing home.
Yeah, and but there was a lot of pressure where, you know, people around me were studying high, like being a doctor or being a lawyer, and I think that was maybe still considered of, oh, those people that make a lot of money, and but I just didn't like. I like traveling, so I got really lucky that photography met me, and then we get to travel together.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, my wife is actually a cosmetologist. She is a hair and makeup artist. So you guys ought to connect in some way. But
yeah, but you aren't you? So can I ask how old you are?
Yeah, I'm actually 32.
32? Oh, I thought you were way younger.
No.
2 kids, are those yours or?
Yeah, those are my kids. I just put them to bed, actually. They're probably like listening to me right now. Yeah, my son is 6 and my daughter is 4. And me and my wife have been married for coming up on 13 years, actually. So,
Wow.
yeah, we got married when we were 20.
Aww.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was in the Marine Corps actually at that time, which is the military here in the U.S. So.
When you met her?
No, God, we actually dated in high school, so we're actually high school sweethearts, and we actually met when we were 11 years old.
11 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just crazy. It's insane. So after we were talking about it today, actually in the gym, we were talking about how this is the year where we've been together for half of our lives, like officially, you know, like 16 years we've been together, and so we're 32, and so pretty wild.
That's special.
Yeah, it's really cool. Really cool. So yeah, she is how I kind of I feel like I've gotten really, really good because she just lets me shoot her, you know. I don't if you followed my stuff, she's always been a really big subject of mine, you know. So you know, and it helps that she's just absolutely gorgeous. So
yeah. But it's nice that she does beautician too. But does she helps you on shoot as well with makeup?
Yeah. I actually just finished up a wedding today where she actually did the hair and makeup for the bride of that wedding. And then she also kind of assisted me during the shoot or during the day too. So we kind of haven't officially said we are, you know, husband and wife team in that sense, but we do have a pretty interesting set of skills that we could use. And as we get more and more popular in the photography business and all that, we'll probably consider that more. So
yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Cool. So you started out doing cosmetology type stuff, and then so did you just kind of like start shooting one day, and then you just were like, I don't know, I like this, I'm good at it, people like it. Like, what was that process like for you?
I think it was actually at a Christian conference or a festival kind of idea where I met this guy who was a photographer, a young man, and I think I always like to look at people, just to observe them, see how they feel, just to know what vibe you get around them. So when I had the camera with that guy, because I could help him out, or he just allowed me to do what I wanted. So I could have actually captured those moments. I could observe, and I think that's the biggest fun for me, is to look around and see, like, oh, what can I capture? Oh, this or that. And things that maybe people don't even notice they are doing. So that's how I think it started. So I was just really, I'm still super curious. So I think I just had my camera, so I had an excuse to come closer and an excuse to capture those things instead of, you know, being that girl that just looks around. But,
would you consider yourself an extrovert or an introvert?
Oh, I think introvert. Yeah. But maybe half of the people I know would say extrovert. So it depends if I feel comfortable with you, which I already feel now, lucky, otherwise I would be nervous.
Sure.
Yeah, I would be an introvert. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. Me and Dylan Howe were talking in my last art talk about this, and I was just so surprised at how very much himself he was when he was talking to me, similar to what you were saying. But yeah, he's so introverted, and as
Yeah.
photographers, we have to we can't be that as a brand, and it's very, very interesting because a lot of our the things that we share have to be very in your face and tenacious and risky sometimes, and so there's this interesting contrast. How do you kind of balance that in your life?
Yeah, that's a good thing, because I wish if I wasn't a photographer, I would have deleted Instagram and all these other stuff, because
Mhm.
it takes so much out of you as well, and you just want to enjoy the simple things in life instead of being on that phone. But
Sure.
on the other side, I'll get such, like, I get to go to LA this year, and because of Instagram. So,
Huh.
well, because it connected us to the couple. So it's crazy.
Wow.
But I think on a wedding, being that introvert, I like to be that introvert. I don't like to be, you have to be a bit invisible
Sure.
mostly all the time. But on social media, you can be, or with my brides, I'm very, I think, close, and I would like to, like, how do you call them? Give them, have that touch between us.
Yeah.
I don't know how that sounds with my English sounds. But that you come close, so you're extroverted in that. But with many people, like your groom or something, I really like to have that distance out of respect for my bride. Or so it's a bit in, yeah, I think half.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. Let me see. I had my list of questions. I always forget all the questions I send you guys. Let me show you her. You have a question for me as I look this up? You have another question for me? No? Okay. Let's see. Um, you you've had your work in Vogue, right? You there? She is gone. Let's see. You there, Alice? Okay. She cut out, everyone, but we are still live. So there she is. Hey.
Sorry, I don't know what happened.
No, it's so funny. I jumped over to my email because I was going to find one of the questions, and I was sitting there talking to you, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, no worries, she's not going to respond, no big deal, whatever. So, and I know everybody that was watching is probably like, what the hell is he talking about? She wasn't even on. So it's so funny. Anyways,
Yeah, but
um,
I
yeah,
answer.
you're back. What I was saying is you had your work featured in Vogue, right?
Yeah, that was, yeah, true.
Well, what
Yeah.
was that all about?
That's about, one of my best friends is an assistant for Jan Terminio, so he makes the dresses for our queen, Maxima.
Yeah.
And and they asked me to shoot behind the scene. So obviously he's a really big name, so I just got into it. And through a bride of mine, which is also kind of known in Holland, and I did her wedding. So yeah, so just through other people.
Cool. That's
Nice.
really awesome. That's awesome. I was like, that's pretty badass. Let's see. So I'll get back to my questions.
Yeah.
I've done this so many times that you think I would remember the same questions I send to all you guys. So one of my favorite questions I love asking other photographers are, where do you think photography is going in the next several years?
I think that's a funny question, because I never had that question before. So I actually never thought about it. And I mean, I think about everything. So I think I hope it stays there. I'm not really considering like, oh, how and what and whatever. I just hope
Yeah.
it stays. And I believe it will stay, because besides our memory, it's the photographs that we get to go. So when we die, or when our loved ones die, that's what stays over. So I think every one of us is conscious of the fact that they want to capture it, or
Sure.
capture that moment, or capture their child, or so I think it will stay on forever, because that's the only thing that stays over. Do you know,
Sure.
at the end of the day, or when we go older, we look at the photographs, and I mean, I can't go back in my memory sometimes. I'm sure we'll forget things.
Sure. Sure.
I think it'll stay forever.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I think that some of the photographers that brand themselves the best and are able to um, communicate to their audience, you know, that their photography is worth it. That's kind of what they say. I think that, you know, it's that this is the thing that's going to last forever. There's very few things that will be here. Yeah, when you're gone and when you die, and these are the things that it's worth it. You know, it's an investment for you. So I think that's really important that we talk about that and communicate that to folks out there, that this is important. You know, it's not just me pushing a button, you know.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah. Who are some other photographers that inspire you?
I think in the beginning I was quite looking for those photographers around, but then you get so distracted and you almost get like, oh, I'm not there at the point where they are, that I kind of stopped doing that. So now I look towards photographers as like, oh, I love your work, it's amazing, but that's just their work, and it can never be mine, and it can never be, if that makes sense of it. It's like, I always want to get back to, hey, what do I want to capture, or how do I want to capture it? Instead of those are that I look to or something.
Right.
But there are so many good ones, so many. I don't even know where to start.
Who's your top three?
Oh my goodness.
If you had to choose top three that maybe inspire you.
I'm so bad at names. So if I have to even go to my Instagram and check it.
Yeah.
And Phil Chester, or there are so many. I don't know. No, I can't. I don't even know their names.
Yeah, Phil's stuff is good. I really like his stuff. He was actually, I had a really interesting connection with him because he's getting featured he got featured in Design Aglow magazine. I don't know if you know that magazine. Do you know? Check them out. It's called Design Aglow, AGLOW. But I'm getting featured in Design Aglow in their next print.
Wow.
And they sent me his feature article as an example, and he was actually in the Army, and I did not know that. And I had, you know, there's very few photographers that I run across that have been in the military like myself, and I was like, that's a really cool connection. But he does a really great job of it was the article about how to open up couples during shoots and writing. He gave the suggestion and said have them do some homework ahead of time to write letters to each other. It's really, really good. You got to check it out. And I actually started doing that with mine, with my couples after I read it. And so I actually have them write letters to each other after I read that. And it's made my couples sessions like so dramatically better. Yeah, it's for real. It's for real. So, but say that again.
His work is just, I think the photos of the couples, the love couples, so much intimacy, and it's just stunning.
For sure. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Are there any things that have inspired you that have been anything that you'd consider like an emotional struggle or emotional pain that have kind of inspired your work and pushed it? Because you do have really emotional work. Now, I don't know, are there things like that you'd be willing to talk about?
Let me see what was. Oh, I think I'm a very sensitive person,
Mm,
and I think my boyfriend can agree to that. that is when you feel things a lot. I don't know. There's this quote. It says it's a curse and it's a blessing. It's that
sure.
it can be your downfall, but it can also. I think that's what when I photograph, I feel it so much. I feel when the groom looks at the bride, or when a father does something, or whatever, whoever. I just feel it. So I think I'm also looking for those touched feelings, like
Mhm.
instead of just, how do you call it, basic things.
Sure.
So I'm not interested anymore. Like in the beginning, you know how you have to have the cake perfectly, or those or superficial things. I'm really not. I don't like those things anymore, and I know I have to do them, so I just do them.
Sure.
Sometimes I can even do the shoes, or I think it doesn't. It's not the story. So I think knowing what's really important, and when you feel that, is that what's your focus on? You know, if you're gonna focus your
Right.
eyes on the cake, you're gonna make amazing cake photos. But if your focus is on trust, love, all these things underneath the wedding, you know, or marriage,
Yeah.
you seek, you put your sensor goes to it, and that's what you capture. And I think that's what I try to do, or what I do, because that's who I am.
Right on.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, that's interesting. I think one of the things that photographers struggle with so much is authenticity. You know, it's difficult to,
yeah,
um, especially in the beginning. You know, to just go out there and put yourself out there and do your thing when there's so many guys that have been doing it for so long, so well, and it seems like it's effortless. And there's this balance between doing what you find interesting, and then also, like you said, having to get that shot that the bride wants.
but that
So
was interesting with your. I think you asked a question as well. That was about what was your struggle in the beginning of photography,
hmm
and I think I thought about it, and I think I was very lucky to not know the world of photography when I stepped in, because I can imagine if you want to become a photographer, you know things about photography, you know photographers, and then you go towards it, you look to that. But I actually didn't know that, so I had to create my own kind of, hey, oh wait, I have a camera. What do I want to photograph? Because I didn't know any other photographers.
yeah,
So I think that's actually a nice thing that happened to me, I think, is that I didn't had all these people to look at, and I just created my own maybe. And then later, obviously, you need to learn, and there are so many inspirations, people that you look up to, you kind of get help from as well.
yeah,
But the start of it, if you stay with yourself and by yourself, which is really hard in this world, especially Instagram,
yeah,
where we see so much of someone else,
yeah, for sure.
come back to yourself and what do you want? What makes you happy, and what do you want to capture?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
How many weddings have you shot up to this point?
I always find it funny when people exactly know how many weddings they shot. But I know last year was that was a bit crazy. I would not want it, but that was 30. But I know crazy photographers that do 60, or
I
like I
know.
got to remember the names if like
Yeah,
it really
I think
30.
Sam heard. I think maybe he told me he did. God,
Oh my
I
goodness, how
don't.
much?
I'm talking. No, it couldn't have been like. I don't know. Like it was a number that was ungodly amount of weddings a year. Um,
Crazy.
ridiculous amounts of weddings. It was. I can't even remember the number now. Um,
But
I'm just sitting. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
did they had assistants with them or shoot them for them instead of them?
Yeah, I don't know. I know, I don't, I haven't shot a lot of weddings, but, I'm just now getting busy with that stuff. But, um,
Yeah,
you know, I, I think Sam shoots with a second. Sometimes I shoot with a second, sometimes I don't, I mean, it just depends.
yeah,
You know, I try to stay pretty stress free with that, stuff. It's just, we're all just
yeah,
humans, you know? So,
yeah. Yeah.
So since obviously your popularity has grown pretty quickly, it seems like, as a photographer, what are some things that you do to stay grounded? Just as a human, just to stay connected and stay grounded with the rest of the world, and um, you know, with you know, having to balance social media and emails and blogging and traveling and all that.
Yeah. Good question. I think setting rules, and that's why, yeah, again, I'm lucky because I'm from Holland, and Dutch people are really organized. That's what I've learned from them. They're also very black and white often, so they know exactly what they want. So if yeah, I think having boundaries and rules for yourself, and I think allowing not things that how do I say it? Let's say if I email with a couple and I really feel they're pressing on my boundaries and they're really going against what I stand for example, I know straight away now, I can even recognize it in the first email, to set like to guard myself and to say it in a kind way, but saying I'm not the right photographer for you guys, or stopping that energy where you keep going and emailing on it with each other, which gives you stress. So I think I recognize way more things super quick, and then I'll be like, no, yes. And when it's a yes, I'll come and I'll give you 200% of myself. But when it's a no, it's like, thank you very much, but bye. And then maybe another photographer can handle that. So I think having rules.
And she got dropped off. Hey guys, Alice is gone for a second. She'll be back. She was talking about having rules and having boundaries with your clients. My question was, how do you stay connected and stay grounded and all that? If you are out there watching, you can leave your comments or questions. If you just joined us, you can see the rest of the broadcast on YouTube. You can head over there and Mark Mayer Photography YouTube page. And yeah, so that's all right. There's a bunch of other artist talks as well that I've done. Pablo, like Les, Sam Hurd, Ron Browser, just did Dylan Howe. Who else have I done? Lucas Piatek, I think that's how you say his name. He's the founder of Looks Like Film. A lot of you guys are Looks Like Film groupies, so you'll enjoy that. And I think a couple more. But go check those out. The link is on my blog at markmanphoto.com. You can check those out. So hopefully Alice gets back on here and we'll finish this thing. Hey, there she is. I hope. There you are. Yay.
I like to travel in between spaces.
Yeah, of course. It's like, hang on. No, I was doing a little commercial as you were gone, so it's fun. It's fun. It gives me a chance to do little promos, so it's fine. Cool. You were talking about boundaries with clients and just to stay grounded and staying connected and stuff like that. Are there any other things in your personal life that you'd be willing to share that you do to stay grounded and connected?
Yeah, I think my faith, believing in God, and personal stuff. Yeah, I think that makes me tries to be a better person. You know, when you get a bad email or something, you want to just email back badly, but then the God that I believe in says, no, love the other. And so that's a reminder for myself, actually the biggest. Yeah.
For sure. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. So let's see. My last question on my list is, can you give me your top 3 pieces of gear that are your faves?
Yeah. My eyes, maybe.
So like I'm sorry, your top 3 pieces of gear. Your eyes
Yeah,
are awesome.
yeah. No, as in,
Okay, okay,
yeah.
go for it. Sorry.
35. My 35 1.4 Sigma. How do you call it in English? Sigma.
Yeah, I have that lens too.
Yeah, I actually sold my Canon one, and because I like the colors way more. But if I'm honest, I don't really mind which lens, because I started in my first years with the 50, and that's just what I knew.
The
And
51,
now,
1.2,
yeah, the 51 point, no, 1.4,
1.4. Cool. It's a good lens.
too dreamy. The 35 1.4 is now the thing. And
Yeah, it
but
is.
if I'm honest, if you have any advice for another one, like I think it's just what we do. It's not really the lens. But do you have any other one than the 35?
My lens, I love the tilt shift 45. Because
Do that.
what's that?
Super hard to do that. The tilt shift one.
It's hard, if you just keep shooting with it, you can get it. And I I shot my this wedding that I just finished up today. I shot probably like 15% of it with the tilt shift, and the rest, almost all the rest of the wedding was the Sigma 35 1.4. And I'm just
Wow.
sitting there editing these files, and I'm just like, my God, the tilt shift is just so freaking gorgeous. Yes, it takes practice, but it's just a beautiful, beautiful lens. I love it so much.
Right. So how do you can't just then, what do you do when you have a super important
Yeah, I mean,
lens?
it's all manual. I've actually slowly transitioned to almost to many different circumstances. I end up manually focusing anyways. Um, a lot of times during like posing, anyways. So I was
Yeah.
fine with the fact that you have to manually focus a tilt shift. I'm fine with that because I'm not, like I slowly trust my camera less and less with focus, just because like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just something that I've slowly done over time as I've shot more. I'm like, oh wait, what if I manually focus this? And because I use live view all the time for those people who have been to my photo field trips and stuff like that. I've showed them my technique, and I'm always in live view. I'm always using the back of my camera visually. I'm using the zoom feature on the back of the 5D.
What's live view?
Say that again.
What's live view?
So let me see if my 5Ds. So like live. So live view is so most of the time we shoot just like this, where this screen is not being seen. But if I push the start stop button, then you can see the back of the screen here. And so now I'm in live view mode, and you can't see anything just because of all the settings. But
Yeah.
anyways, live view, I don't know what's happening. But you can see what the file will look like back here.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys can see me. Yeah, there I am. So like you can see that. And so I actually will manually focus my subjects right here. And I can actually there's a zoom button, if you guys can see it right there. And if you push it, it'll actually zoom in wherever the box is. And then, so like if I want your eyeball and you're standing, across the street, like 30 feet away, I can zoom in using my zoom button in live view mode and manually focus on your eyeball, and not just kind of use my AF servo like I usually do,
Yeah.
And so it just gives me a little more precise control, and that's just something that I enjoy. A lot of people are like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I'm like, "I don't know, just my favorite."
But it's slower to click on, right?
It's a lot slower. Yeah, it's slower. I switch. I usually take. I usually take one or two. God, did you? I don't even think anybody else even saw that. Sorry, guys, because it didn't switch over. Um, while I was showing you, it didn't switch over to me. But anyways, I was showing the back of the camera. Yes, it's slower in live view, but what I usually do is I'll quickly just switch. If there's a special moment happening or something, I will just switch back into my regular mode and I'll just keep shooting. Actually, I won't even look through my my eye sensor, and I'll just shoot and shoot and shoot because I know my focus is staying the same. Like I said, I usually only use it for posing. So people aren't moving around a lot. So I mean, it's just one of the things that I've slowly picked up. I think I may have heard that. I don't know. I think I just like heard it from someone that they used it a while back, and I just started experimenting with it. And I just seem to have a really nice focus hit rate when I do that. So I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting. That's your thing.
Yeah, it's my thing, and a lot of people don't want to do it that way. I understand. I mean, it's slower, but I'm shooting with mirrorless stuff that's slower anyway. Sometimes, like I don't. Do you have any mirrorless stuff? No. Are you thinking about switching over?
Huh?
Yeah.
No.
No.
No, I'm not so technical. I think I'm fine with my Mark III. And do you use two cameras on the wedding?
This last one I only used. I just used my Mark III, and I just have an extra lens. So, or my two extra lenses. So I have like a backpack, and so I had my 85 1.2, I had my 35 1.4, and then my tilt shift. I think that was it. Yeah, and sometimes I'll bring this little Fuji X100. I love this camera. Cool camera. It's so small, but it's crop sensor, but it's 23 millimeters, so that means it shoots at 35 millimeters.
Yeah.
So, but it shoots RAWs. It's great, and it's easy to carry around. So I've shot some of my portfolio shots have actually been on this camera, which is wild. It's crazy, but I love it. It's a great camera. I let my kids shoot on it all the time.
Yeah, it's so easy and light. Nice.
Yeah, for sure. So, well, do you have any other questions for me or anything like that before we close out?
No, but if we do another interview, we can do it with you.
Awesome. That'd be awesome. Awesome. You can do that.
Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, yeah, thank you so much, Alice, for joining us from Australia. And again, your work is beautiful and inspiring, and it's wonderful to just see something different. And it's also cool, like you said it yourself. It's cool that you don't have like this strong background in photography, and I mean you're proving that it doesn't take that art degree, or it doesn't take that that deep mentorship years after years after years. It just takes you having something you're interested in and passionate about that interest, and willing to spend day in day out doing it, and I love when artists prove that that's all it takes, really. And thank you for doing that. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I hope tomorrow you have a really warm day, another warm day.
Thank you. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Well, have a great day, and I'm going to have a great night's sleep over here. It's dark, so thank you again for joining me. Bye. Thank you so much. Bye. And you guys, please follow. Please follow Alice on my blog. You can find all of the links to her work, her website, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Please go to This Artist Talk and follow her and connect with her and tell her you saw her, and just talk with her because she's awesome. So connect with her, please. I hope you guys have a great evening and talk to you soon. Bye.